Welcome back to another episode of StitchPhiles with Barudan, America. I'm Brandon.
I'm Bob.
Welcome back.
And we are in the world headquarters.
We're down a machine.
Yeah, we are. We got, on injured reserve. No, we traded it for one to be named later. Right?
Is this a Christian McCaffrey situation?
Man.
We're getting the draft picks.
When did you find out about that?
About what?
Christian McCaffrey.
Day before yesterday. No, yesterday morning.
It happened this morning. It happened last night.
They were talking about it all yesterday.
But I didn't believe it.
I did.
Are you sad?
No, I don't care. You heard all the time.
That's true.
Good riddance. He sure is cute.
He's a good looking man. I'm not into that kind of stuff, but you're fun.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, we'll get into this. We got
enough football.
Yeah, let's get to reality.
We got a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Is he a Dallas Cowboys fan?
He is a Dallas Cowboy fan.
So that'll introduce our guest. We have Robert Grundy, another one of our magnificent sales reps for Barudan.
Magnificent.
And who now I know is a Cowboys fan, which I thought I liked him. Robert, are you there?
I am here, and I hope that Gary McGuire isn't listening to this because he hates the Cowboys, and he's my technician, so I don't want him to.
Oh snap!
Oh well, he's a New York fan, so how low can you get? Is he a Giants fan or a Jets fan?
Oh, he's a Giants fan.
Oh
yeah. Oh yeah, he loves the Giants, man. He hates the Cowboys with a passion. He says I'm for anybody that's playing the Cowboys.
Kind of like we are about Duke.
ABC, right? Anybody but Cowboy.
Anybody but Duke. ABD.
Yeah.
We're not Duke fans. We pull against.
Yeah, my uncle is a Cowboys fan, and I don't understand why.
Who?
Burb.
He is. You're right.
You know, well, that's true. But so we grew up in West Virginia, where he lives. The farthest away you could possibly be from the Cowboys, I think. So how's that make sense?
Well, I think when he started watching football, first of all, I think
that was when they didn't wear helmets.
Black and white TVs, helmet with no face mask,
and instead of carrying pigskin, they actually carried a real pig.
It was a real pig.
Yeah.
And
you're going way back now.
Yeah, they only had three teams: Cowboys and the Packers and the Browns. Probably, I'm guessing.
That's probably right.
So.
Anyway,
I met one of those old football players years ago on the Packers. Ray Nipsky, remember Ray?
Oh
Nipsky?
yeah. That's before my time.
How did you meet him?
I was in Las Vegas at a sales meeting for a company I worked for before Barudan, and he came in and did a motivational speech, and everybody was running out buying blank footballs so they could get an autograph by him. He let me try the Super Bowl ring on.
Oh wow!
And, yeah.
Did it fit?
No, it didn't fit. It didn't fit. He didn't like that I was a Cowboys fan either. So
yeah,
he put it on his big toe.
Was he cognitively intact?
Yeah, then he was. But he's dead now, you know. But,
he is. I know he's not now.
He was. This has been 25 years ago. So he was way retired by the time I met him.
So those motivational speeches, I've had some that people come talk to us at like other companies I've been at. What do you think about those?
We kind of laughed at them, actually.
Yeah.
One of them, they brought in an old junk car, and the guy was up there with a sledgehammer, and he was pounding it like, "This is the competition." Bam!
Yeah,
hit the.
That was our last sales meeting.
Was it?
Yeah. Don't you remember I had that sledgehammer?
Car we were hitting, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was Kevin's Jeep.
Kevin's Jeep. Yeah, I think they're weird. Like, it's usually somebody who's done way more than you'll ever do in your life, you know? And you're just like, man, I'm just trying to make it through the day. Like, I don't need to hear about climbing Mount Everest.
Yeah, I'll never climb that mountain, buddy.
Yeah. All right, but so, yeah, we're kind of, I don't know, maybe we'll do try to get as many of the reps on as we can.
Yeah, I think so.
I was thinking about that before I turned the camera on.
I like to hear everyone's perspective.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same, but then again, it's kind of different.
Everybody's got different backgrounds. And yeah. So, Robert, give us a little bit of your like. What did you do before Barudan? As much as you can share or want to share.
Yeah, well, I have to be careful. But,
yeah,
be careful.
Leave the dancing part out.
Okay, well, I'll make sure to leave that out.
That's a big hole. That was a big hole in your resume I asked you about.
It almost cost me the job, man, I tell you.
Maybe not. Maybe that's what got you the job.
Well, that's true.
I see here Chippendales is on the resume. Can you explain what happened between 1985 and 87?
I was a busboy. What can I say? No, well, thanks for inviting me on this. I do appreciate it.
Oh yeah.
I worked for a company called Newell Rubbermaid. I worked for them for 15 years. And I ended up at the end being a district manager and had, 20 or 30 people under me. And we sold to big box retailers like Walmart and Kmart and some mom and pop retailers too. But the division I worked for was, they made ready-made picture frames. And so we had sales reps and retail reps who go in and stock and all that. But anyway, that's beside the point. But that's what I did. Yeah, for 15 years, they dismantled the sales force when they got bought out by another company and fired everybody. And I got a severance package for about 6 months, and I was looking for a job, of course. And then back then, everybody advertised in the newspaper for employment. Mm-hmm. And so I answered a newspaper ad. Bob hired me and answered a newspaper ad. And I actually thought I almost didn't go to the interview. Right? I swear to God, I almost didn't go because I thought I looked it up online and I thought, what in the world is this? Embroidery machines. They're going to try to sell me a business or something. and I didn't even put two and two together, And
actually, I was wanting to sell you a timeshare, but you caught onto that pretty quickly.
That's kind of what I thought it was going. That way it was going, but no, I went to an interview, of course, and they hired me. Bob hired me. Dave Davison, he came in for a second interview, and I was new to the industry, didn't know, of course, nothing about an embroidery machine, so I had a lot to learn, and I had a lot of people to help me. Bob, I know he got tired of me asking so many questions when I was new, and I relied on even my sales rep that was in the territory before me, Sean Evans, which is now with CIT Financing or CIT Bank. Yeah, he was in my territory for 5 or 6 years, but I was one of the new hires with Barudan America. I didn't go back to the McPherson Meistergram days. So yeah, that's how I got into it. Started beating the bushes, started learning my territory, started getting my name out there, and cover 4 states. So I was on the road about every week when I first got started, and it just Sean Evans, he laid a really good foundation in the territory down for Barudan. So they had a really good reputation, and just worked hard and grew it from there. And just kept adding customers and machines, and it just kind of snowballed. And referrals and testimonials from customers that own Barudans. I relied on that heavily. And just kept working it hard, and it grew to what it is today. So yeah, that's kind of what my background is. Like I said, I was new to the industry, so I didn't know nothing about embroidery when I started. So
yeah, when did you start? How long have you been with us?
I can't remember what year it was.
It's 2003, June 1st, 2003. So it'll be my 20-year anniversary. It'll be next June.
Oh, that's hard to believe.
Yeah.
Time flies,
man.
I remember. We had a lot of candidates. I went down there 2 or 3 times to Arlington. I had a hotel right down the street from the Texas Rangers stadium, the old stadium, not the new one. And I would interview in the afternoon and go to a baseball game in the evening.
Oh man, what a dream!
Yeah, and then I walked right up and I watched. Remember when Teixeira, who was with Atlanta, he was with the Rangers then. But I got to watch them play.
Nolan Ryan was gone by then, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah. I got to watch them play. I think they played Cleveland. I think they played Cleveland, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, I watched like 3 games.
Yeah, that's great. That's why I enjoy Atlanta so much.
Yeah, I mean literally, I was like three blocks there from the stadium. Robert knows where the hotel was where I did the interviews.
So, Robert, what did you do so impressive to get the job?
It's been so long ago, Brandon, I can't remember. But I'm sure it was something. I'm sure it was something wonderful, but I just can't put my finger on it right now.
Well, it's down to you and 2 other people, and honestly, all 3 of you guys are really good candidates. I got to tell you this little story, and maybe I've told you this. I don't hire that many people just because we don't have much turnover at all. But like he said, 20 years ago, we did it in that there was no Indeed or all these other online job things.
Monster.com.
Yeah, Monster.com. So I ran an ad. I guess it was in the Dallas paper and the Fort Worth paper. So I wrote a little ad, sent it to them. It was kind of expensive. And put a P.O. box where they could send their resumes. And I got a lot of resumes, and as I always do, I go over them and I put them in there's some that are just like, no, that's not going to work. And you put them in a pile of about 25 or 30, and then you don't want to talk to that many people, but then you kind of call them out. Well, this one fellow sent me a resume, handwritten on a long yellow legal pad. And I'm like
a legal pad?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Wrote me a handwritten letter. And I said, I got to interview this guy.
I would have too.
I just got to, because anybody go to that, those lengths to get a job. He had a lot of sales experience. He was older.
But not enough to afford a typewriter or computer.
Well, no, he didn't know anything about. He was not computer literate. But he was a very interesting guy. Did I kind of take advantage of him? Not really.
Was his last name Dahmer?
No. No, he's a nice guy. I mean, we talked. It was my last interview of the day, and I just said, I want to talk to this guy because you just never know. He may be. Yeah,
who cares? A resume is a resume. I mean, they're all just cookie cutter.
Everybody lies on a resume anyway, so it doesn't really mean a whole lot. But anyway, I talked to him for a long time, and I really felt sorry for the dude. And I'm like, man, I can't hire him because I said, do you know computers? Nope, never needed one. Have no intentions to learn how to use a computer.
And his name was Vinny Ecarino.
He could have been, he was Italian.
Was he?
He was. And I'm like, man, you kind of, that's kind of, we have to use like laptops. And then, I don't know about him, but it was kind of, he's like, well, that kind of kills the deal. I'm like, thank you, Lord. Because he was such a nice guy. I didn't want to, but it was interesting. And I mean, if you're in sales, of course, you talk to people, and there's some people that are just extremely interesting. At least I feel that way, and I like talking to. I guess it's back when I was a newspaper reporter. I'm just inquisitive. I like to talk to him. I want to see what he was about. But I tell you what, there's no doubt in my mind he could have sold these machines, because he had the go-getter attitude, and I said, what do you know about Barudan? And he said, not a thing.
Could you imagine introducing him to Quote Valet?
Again, it's like getting Vinny to use
it. That's what I was saying.
Anyway, that's. I remember Robert and the other 2 people that were the finalists, and I remember this guy. This guy sticks out in my mind. That I just
got to look him up, see what he's doing.
I don't even remember his name.
I think he was in the lobby when I was in the lobby. I remember.
He may have been. He was considerably older. Of course, 20 years ago, you and I were young. 20 years ago.
Yeah, I was 22 20 years ago.
Wow.
No,
I was like, that don't add up, dude.
I mean, I don't hire reps often. It's rare that we hire a rep. They just don't leave. I think I think Mark McClure. I think I hired him. Did you come after Mark or before Mark?
No, I came before Mark and about 2 years before Zola.
Okay.
Yeah. Then the one right before me was in Colorado. Was what's his name? I can't remember. He has a funny name. I can't remember his name.
Oh, Al.
Al Yokobonis.
Yeah. I remember Al. Yeah, it used to be when you started. We had. No, wait a minute. Did you have all of Texas when I hired you?
Yeah, they had split it up between. You had it split between Sean and Al, and then when I came on board, you just gave me all of Texas and gave Al something else.
Well, before Al, there was a guy named Dave. I can't remember his name. It was weird the way Texas was split up. I mean, the west part of Texas was like, wasn't it Houston, back up toward San Antonio? I don't know.
Yeah.
If you lived
Sean didn't go. He didn't go to Austin or San Antonio.
No.
He went to Dallas and Houston.
Yeah, that was, of course, back then you needed 2 reps to cover all of Texas. But yeah, it was. I mean, North Carolina was split into.
That's crazy to think of.
At one time, when I first started here with McPherson, we had 3 reps in North Carolina. And you got to keep in mind, you had all the textiles right here in this area.
Right. Yeah.
There was a ton of embroidery machines here.
Yeah, that's crazy how that's changed.
Steve Furman had North Carolina from Asheville west.
So
yeah,
couple hundred, that ain't even 100 miles.
And he was in Nashville.
That's crazy.
Well, he was a Meistergram rep.
But when we consolidated Meistergram and everything else, and that's where that came from, because we had a Meistergram sales force, as Vinny alluded to a couple weeks ago. So that's how those territories, we just kind of combined things. And at the looking at it now, it's like, well, that was a stupid decision, but at that time, it was not.
Right. Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, too much ground to cover then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everything's changed so much anymore. Anyway, it's.
Well, I mean, I've told you this, and I've mentioned it on the podcast before. We had back then we were selling more 12 and 15 head machines than anything.
Right.
I mean, we weren't even selling single heads. We sold 2 4s and 6s. Didn't make an 8. Didn't make an 8 until 2002, 2003, when the D series came out. So that's just the way it was done.
Yeah.
I think I didn't sell my first 12 head until I'd been with Barudan for 4 years. I just never had. Of course, my territory is more mom and pa type shops. So
yeah.
I don't have a lot of corporate accounts. So yeah, but I got a few, but not many. But yeah, I didn't sell my first 4 head. I think it was 7 or 8 years before I sold a 15 head.
That's crazy. Like I said, back when I was here, I remember we had a 12 and 15 head division. It's all they sold. They couldn't sell a 6 or smaller.
Yeah, that's what Vinny was saying too. He was doing. What was he? He was doing the multi-head.
Hey, no, he started with Meistergram.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he was hired with Meistergram, as Steve Furman was hired with Meistergram.
That's a lot of change in a short amount of time.
Everything came together.
Yeah.
You had guys that sold Meistergrams that had never sold a straight stitch machine. Then you had guys that sold straight stitch machines that had never sold a Meistergram, and they were like, "What's this Meistergram thing?" I mean, we were all in the same building.
Yeah.
And I was with both companies. I I knew all the machines because it was my responsibility, but it was all divided. It was just weird way. I mean, it worked. It worked for a long, long time until it didn't work.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything went overseas. Was it NAFTA that created all that mess? Everything went overseas.
That's when the big machines went away. The 12 and 15s completely went away, and McPherson Meistergram had to readjust. And I'm not sure, that might have been part of their demise, I guess, is they adjusted, but probably not quick enough. It just kind of came so suddenly that 12 and 15 head business went away, and that was so much of our business, and those machines were very profitable. And they had to scramble, and that's probably why. Well, there's no probably about it. I'm sure that's why McPherson Ice Cream went out of business, because we had 200 people in Greensboro.
Yeah.
Think about that. We had 200 people. You remember working over there during this time?
It's a big company.
Yeah, we had a DC over there with machines and stuff, and Brandon he and his brother used to come over and thread machines for Bob and Show.
Yeah, you were kids then, weren't you?
Yeah.
Their mom used to bring them over,
drop us off and sweat my what off in there.
Yeah, there was no
climbing on top of machines and threading them all day.
I remember he and Kyle. Kyle was probably 10 or 11 years old. I think the last year or two you were driving.
Yeah,
you guys were driving over because you had your driver's license. But anyway,
I got an early start in embroidery, so I've been around a long time.
Did the threading process come back to you quickly after you started back with Barudan?
Yeah,
it was like riding a bicycle.
Yeah, essentially, and I hate it just as much as I did then.
You were getting paid to thread machines then. You're not getting paid to thread them now.
Yeah, that's right. I did get paid to thread them. Now that's not the case.
I don't like thread them either. We had to thread them all in Fort Worth. I hate threading machines. I just don't like doing it.
Yeah, it's
how fast Gary McGuire is when he does it. He just blows me away how fast he does it. I'm like a snail, doing it.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. Like up in Jersey, like if Earl's there and Billy, and like I'm so slow, I feel like I'm in the way. So like I'm just gonna leave. You guys got it. It's my eyesight.
That's what Jimmy Britt told me at a trade show one time when I first started with Barudan. We were in the Fort Worth trade show, and he was running the machines, and I was trying to help learn. I was eager, and I was changing the bobbins out for him, and he came up to me and said, "Robert, leave these machines alone." I said, "Okay, Jimmy, I won't touch them."
Yeah, there are still certain people who are not allowed to touch them, and I will not name names.
No. I think most of us know who they are.
Yeah. So, what states do you cover? Just so the listeners know.
I cover Texas, all Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, and Colorado.
Yeah.
I picked up Colorado after Howdy Ya'll left, and kind of an oddball.
That's one I would love to have. So
do you know that nobody wanted that? That's
strange.
That poor Colorado we've had more reps in that one state. I can't tell you why.
It's such a beautiful state.
I had I say before. Well, I'm not going to name any names, but there were like 3 guys that had it and just didn't do anything with it. And
it's such a tough state to get your foothold in there because there's just no service techs there. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then there's no service techs there now. The last one that was there, Sam Miller, he passed away to COVID about a year ago. And now Gary, he goes up there quite a bit. He can get there cheap. He fly out of DFW or Love Field, and it doesn't cost as much to fly there as it does to drive there. But he goes up there quite a bit. But yeah, there's just no local techs there anymore. It's crazy.
Well, it's the thing about it is there's not enough business up there for a tech to stay busy all the time. And I had a second point to this, and it just slipped me.
Alzheimer's.
Yeah. No, but I mean, you've done pretty well up there. You've sold a lot of equipment up there.
Yeah. It's I've been happy with what the machines have sold up there. It is a big Tajima territory.
Mm-hmm.
Denver area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it always has been. I guess the distributor at one time, Sedeco, I guess they were based there. Sorry for the phone in the background.
Oh, you're good.
Were based there. Yeah, they were based there, so I think that's how they kind of got their foothold there years ago. But no, I mean, in fact, I got a really good customer up there, Pat Wisham at Vantage Screen Print. Big advocate for Barudan, and he's helped me sell a lot of machines up there. A lot, referrals and customer visits, and letting people come in and look at their machines.
Yeah.
It's
lot
But
of.
yeah,
I mean,
it's been good.
yeah. I mean, you've got Denver, Boulder. What?
Grand Junction,
Yeah. What's Colorado Springs?
Colorado Springs.
I mean, there's a lot of distance between towns, which makes it tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all spread out. It's kind of like Wyoming, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kmart asked me one time. I couldn't get anybody to go to Wyoming. He said, "Well, I'll take it." I'm like, "Knock yourself out." I think he sold one machine there.
Where the population's pretty sparse.
Yeah. I'm not blaming him. I'm just, it's obviously there's not a lot of people there to buy stuff. There's nothing you can really do.
Yeah, that's like, why do you think Vinny does so well? Just more people. It's not that he's smart or better than the rest of us.
Don't tell him that. Don't tell him that.
No, but
You're
you
gonna give him a big head.
Oh no,
you've got more of a chance of success if you got a lot of people.
Oh yeah,
to sell to. I mean,
yeah. Well, Robert, you mentioned something too about Sean being there before you, and the other reps kind of leaving a nice path for you. And
sure.
Yeah, I think that's the case with everybody. I know my experience is, Murph did a great job. Elrod did a great job. It was kind of easy just to pick up in their footsteps and hopefully carry it on. And I think that says a lot about the history of Barudan and the sales reps that I think we've done a good job. I can't say me personally. I'm still wet behind the ears, but.
Well, look at it this way. You haven't screwed it up.
I sure ain't.
See, you were in embroidery, and then you got out of embroidery.
I did.
And
I
then
came
now
back.
You're back in.
Yeah.
So
actually,
you're kind of a two-time.
It's three. I was out, then I was in. No, in then out, and then you had your business. I was in.
Yeah, that's true too.
So I've been in three times.
About that. Yeah,
so.
you ran a machine and did. Well, you did a lot of screen printing. Though.
I did do, and I hate it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you ran the machines?
Yeah. When
you guys had some?
Yeah. I did more of the screen printing than I did the embroidery, but I did do some embroidery. But yeah, the screen printing was kind of my deal, and I didn't like it. What do you do?
Yeah, it's messy.
Mm-hmm.
And it stinks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Embroidery's better. It's cleaner.
I try to tell people on the phone that too. They're like, we have a screen printing business. I said, sell it. I'm just kidding.
Use the proceeds to buy an embroidery machine.
Yeah. Take your proceeds from your screen printing. Just kidding.
What did you, we talked about this a week or so ago. I lose track of time, but what did you think about the Fort Worth show this year?
But I thought it was great. It was a great show. It was a small show, but there was a lot of people there, and a lot of the people that were there weren't just kicking tires. They were buying.
Yeah.
So we sold quite a few machines there, and sold some after the show, and still working on some now that I'm trying to close. But yeah, it was great. We did really well.
Yeah, I thought it was one of the,
always. Go ahead.
No, I thought it was one of the better Fort Worth. I mean, Fort Worth's always pretty good, but I thought it was one of the better ones. As far as I look at it from a standpoint, what did we sell after the show?
Yep.
And we got a lot of orders from that show.
A lot of orders, more than the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
Last few years, of course, COVID and all that. And we missed 1 year on having a show, but yeah, it was one of the better shows in the last few years for sure. Yeah.
So, do you like to work shows?
Yeah, I do. I do like to work shows. It's a lot of work, but it's of course if you're only doing 2 a year, not 30 a year, it's a different perspective.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy going to them and seeing customers. I get to see customers that I don't get to see on a regular basis, and it's a chance to showcase our machines, and see people that are, I just talk to people all the time that come to the show, that some of them never heard of Barudan, which I find it hard to believe, but I hear it all the time. But So it's a good chance to, tell them about Barudan and who we are and how long we've been around and our reputation. And, I do enjoy them. And it's good seeing people, for employees, you and other reps that come in to help and the techs and a little camaraderie, the week that we're there, it's
we always have a good time, and it is good seeing everybody. I do enjoy getting out and working with everyone. I don't mind, I've done them for years and years and years, and I still enjoy doing them. Now it gets to a point toward the end of the year they get kind of old, but I like them if they're busy. If they're slow, it drives me crazy. I can't stand. You and I have been to a few shows before where we just sit around and look at each other. But I mean, Fort Worth usually hasn't been the case, but a few of those smaller shows are brutally slow. So,
well, as you know, of course you're the one that dictates that. We pick and choose or you pick and choose the ones we don't go to the ones that that we know are going to be slow. Like everybody else does, but I think it's a waste of money. But,
I do. I do too. I think it is too. I mean, I'm torn between not wanting. I'm torn between wanting to support the rep in the territory versus spending money on a show that we're not going to get a return on.
Mm-hmm.
And I know most reps want a show in their territory, but I got to look at it from a dollars and cents position. I mean, we do Charlotte down the road here. You guys sales on the show. You got enough to pay for everything, right?
Yeah, and there's still a couple that are still trying to close on, which they'll happen. It's just for whatever reason.
But we didn't do Charlotte for the longest time, and it's right in our back door. And just because it's one of the smaller shows, it just didn't pull a lot of people, and it's not a dedicated stitching show. It's more of a print show, which we're going to get. Probably half of the customers there aren't interested in embroidery, and the other half are.
Yeah.
But, they come to see them, and which is understandable. I get that.
I mean, like we said before, that Charlotte show was pretty dang busy. It was crazy.
We were swamped this year for 2 days. Honestly, I mean, from 10 o'clock until close, we were absolutely slammed. Everybody was engaged with customers.
It was me and Dad and John Kuhn wanted to text. We could have probably had another person been fine.
We needed John there. It would have been a mess. Not have handled it. And I'm glad he was there. I mean, he's good having him there because he's a tech and he can answer the technical questions. But he's getting pretty good on knowing the machine as far as the sales part of the machine, which is always good to have.
That's because of me.
Well, okay.
Because I call him about technical questions, so I feel like I have to teach him something, even though I know I haven't.
He's scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
Yeah. Kind of like Gary. Gary's good to have at his show from a technical aspect. Plus, Gary's he'll never say this. He wouldn't tell you this, but Gary sells a little bit too. I'm not because he pushes the product, but he does. He of course he has a vested interest in it, but he can talk about the. I mean, he always comes at the show and says, "Okay, what are the prices?"
Yeah,
I always write him down a little cheat sheet so he'll. If you're not.
Oh yeah,
quoting them every day, you don't know, but.
Yeah, that's what John did. I sent him a bunch of literature over and pricing. I was like, "Freshen up, Buttercup."
That's what Gary even does that outside of the shows. He talks to customers if they got old D series machines. He's telling them what the situation is on the boards and that the customers need to know that. They need to know where they're at, and I can't tell them. I can't relay all that information quickly enough to everybody, but I do when I talk to them. But he's really good about keeping them updated on the situation on their older machines. It's time to upgrade.
Yeah. I've said it before. I think the world of the techs that are in my area, man, they do a ton.
You got to have good techs in your area and to be successful. You know, you gotta have good techs, and I think we got good techs all over the country. I think most of our techs, or if not all of them, have been around a while and are very good at what they do.
Yeah. So, what do you think the biggest change is? You know, from the start when you began with Barudan to now, as far as just sales and trends in machines, what do you think?
Well, you know, when I started with Barudan, I sold a lot of startups, like everybody else did. And it wasn't just me, unique to me, but I sold a lot of startups, you know, monthly, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8, you know, single head startup people. And that's not, you know, that's not the way it is now. It's changed. You know, it's, the sales are coming from existing customers or people looking to switch brands, you know, customers that are growing. You know, I think that's my biggest machine base right now is just the growth of my customers. I mean, they're, you know, where before I had a lot of, you know, I first started, I had a lot of people that were just, you know, were just getting started in it. And those customers now are still around, a lot of them, and they're the ones buying machines.
But don't you think that's kind of the cycle, the way that it works, is that you get new customers that you start up, and a couple years go by, they'll buy a multi-head machine, then they'll buy another multi-head machine.
Yep.
That's why when we consolidated the territories in the sales force, we had a couple guys that sold 12 and 15 heads. And when we told them they were going to have to sell single heads, they're like, well, I'm not selling a single head. I'm not doing that. Those people waste my time. And I'm like, well, that's the wrong if you thinking. Don't want to sell a single head, then you're not going to be here very long. First of all, if you're telling me you're not going to sell something, that doesn't go too well with me. Secondly, you're not going to be successful because that's where the market's going. And I know it was hard. It was hard when you're used to selling, you know, $120,000 machine and you go down to selling a $20,000 machine. I mean, financially, yeah, that's tough. Let's all face it. But the other thing too is what you got to keep in mind is something I've told Brandon this and everybody else. You've heard me say this, Robert. You got to plant those seeds. You know, you got to sell the single head machine, and you got to take care of that customer. You got to service them, take care of their needs, answer their questions, and you develop a relationship. You develop a trust. When they want another machine, they don't go shopping. Right. If they go shopping, we've done something wrong. I hate it when I hear, it doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. They went and they bought something else. And I always ask them, if I'm talking to them, what did we do wrong? What could we have done better? And why did you lose faith in us? Most of the time, though, they'll come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can tell you, you know, they went and bought something else and realized, man, this is not as good as my Barudan.
Yeah, and like we said before, you've got to treat that smaller customer just like they were buying 26 heads.
Absolutely.
And I truly, that's my favorite type of people to deal with, because you get to, what I like about it is you get to explain everything to people. The people that come back, they're like, I already know what I want. Just give me an order for a 6 head. I love it, but that's not as fun to me. Like, I like to tell you about it and why you need to buy the machine.
You almost feel like you're not doing your job.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, I'm just writing up an order.
Well, you're reaping the benefits though of your past.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, somebody that just comes up and orders a machine, but I know what you're saying. The fun part is talking about the process and what it. But just like this guy I'm going to meet this afternoon, you know, it's he's new to it, and he's going to have a lot of questions, and you know, that's what I'm here for, is answer questions and explain the process to him and how it works.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, the other thing too, and Brandon and I were talking about this morning. I remember you were standing in my office. We were talking about. What were we talking about?
You should. He just glazed over, Robert.
I was watching that little thing over there, and it kind of. I have to focus, man.
He's got one in front of him.
I got one in front of me. the fact that we do take care of the startups and the new customers, because you were talking to a new prospect this morning on the phone, and you came and asked me a question about the cab driver, and we got to talking about this very same thing.
Oh yeah.
That it's I know what it was. I like looking back and seeing customers that we got started from the ground up, and now they have several machines and a great business, and it's really good to be part of that.
Yeah. You almost feel like you're really part of the business. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember, and there's certain things that stick out in my mind. Me and Steve Furman were doing a show in Chicago on Navy Pier, and there was a gal there and her husband, sweetest couple in the world, and they were looking at another brand and looking at us, and she was so torn. She was just so torn. And we really wanted to sell her. It just a single head machine is all she was buying, and I really wanted to sell her this machine because the other one she was looking at, I knew she wouldn't be happy with it. I knew she wouldn't be. I'm not going to mention.
Leave it there.
But this was 20 some years ago, and I told Furman, I said, man, I want to sell this couple of machines so bad. I'm like, man, I don't want to see them make a mistake, but I don't want to go bash the other one. Sometimes you want to, but it's like, I'm not doing that. Anyway, we were walking from the show, and they were sitting out there on Navy Pier. If you've ever been to Navy Pier in Chicago, it's really pretty. It's nice. Sits on Lake Michigan. There's Ferris wheel there and cotton candy and some other stuff. I mean,
all things I love.
Yeah. So we saw her and her husband sitting there, and they're looking through literature and stuff. And I told Furman, I said, let's go talk to them. So we went over, sat down with them, and I said, look, what's the deal? What can we do? I said, I don't normally do this. I said, but we really and truly want to sell you guys a machine. I know you're going to be successful. She was doing some kind of sewing alterations thing. And we talked to them for like an hour and a half. And we talked about a lot of other stuff about family and everything else. And at the end, Furman and I said, well, man, let's go get something to eat. She said, oh, hell, I'm going to buy your machine. I'm just going to buy it.
Write the check, honey.
Yeah. So we'll come tomorrow and give you. And what I'm telling you this is she has bought 6 heads in addition to that single head that's 20-some years old that she still runs.
There you go.
Yeah.
That right there is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And I remember her daughter was just a little tiny thing, and now she's
running the business.
Actually, she is. She is. So, and that's
I got a few of those too.
And that's what I tell anybody can sell you something and shake your hand and say goodbye. But I know it sounds hokey, but you really do develop relationships and friendships, and you clearly, or you in your heart, I know you guys feel the same way I do. You want to see these people do well.
Absolutely.
Now, even if they never buy another machine, to me, that's, look, there's got to be, we were talking about this too, there's got to be more about work than money.
For sure.
There has to be fulfillment. There has to be satisfaction that you're doing a good, no, we're not saving the world, we're not saving lives, but you think of the machines that we've sold, that businesses have been created, and the success that's born from those businesses. I don't know it. It's just kind of cool to be part of that, I think.
It is, for sure. Yeah.
The people that, Barudan, we sell a quality product.
Yep.
We don't, like I've always heard you say, Bob, I've never had to apologize to anybody for selling them a mediocre machine. And I think that's why we don't have much turnover in our sales force, because, we do sell a quality product. And, some of these other companies that sell mediocre products, they're out there. I'd be surprised if their sales force was like ours, that didn't have where we don't have the turnover.
Yeah, because
all of us been around a long time.
It's because if you're selling something subpar and you're really selling it up, at the end of the day, you have to live with that.
Yep.
And
at some point, you're going to be making an excuse for it.
Yeah, and then you'll be like, I need to find something else to do because I'm depressed.
I just thought of something. I just thought of something too, and a lot of times when I go to a show, I'm looking around. I'm kind of paying attention to things. Something I noticed at the Fort Worth show, and I saw it in Atlantic City too, and I think you and I talked about it. How many times do you see a competitor come up to our booth from every manufacturer and stand there and watch our machine? How many times do you see that?
It happened in Charlotte too.
How many times do you see that?
All the time.
You never. I never go look at their stuff. Not that I'm disrespectful. I'm not.
I ain't got the time.
No, we're talking about it. But think,
I'm just trying to make it to the restroom.
Yeah, I pissed my pants in Charlotte. Like I had to.
but I saw every other competitor in Fort Worth was on our booth watching our machines. So every one of them.
Well, I'm not gonna say it. Never mind. This would give it away. Yeah, it happens. That's what I'll tell you.
Yeah. So I mean, to me, and this is going to sound cocky, but I think everybody knows we have. Even our competitors are like, geez, what can we do to beat these guys? How can we?
I feel like that's the wrong mentality. Like I just don't.
What I said?
No, if they feel that way, like I think there's just give the information to the person, educate them. There's enough to go around. Like the people that sell out from under you or whatever. I can't do that. You know what I mean? And I don't know.
You look bad.
Yeah.
It's you don't have to. We don't have to do that. We just don't have to do that. I mean, we just tell them what is good about and great about our machines. What ours does better than the rest, and the build quality, and do your research. I mean, I tell people all the time, just do your research, and there's a few good quality machines out there, and there's a lot of bad ones. But do your research, and I think you'll. I'd be surprised if you didn't choose a Barudan.
Yeah, maybe they just secretly want to come work for us.
Oh, trust me, I've gotten resumes from our competitors, and there's some good people that work at some of these places. There truly is, and I always. They're welcome to come talk to me anytime. I am not going to shun anybody. I will not do that. I'll tell you anything you want to know. There are no secrets. I know, sometimes they may think I'm unapproachable because I'm the competition, but I don't look at it that way.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like you shouldn't look at it that way.
No.
That's just a weird...
I know we're not going to get every sale as much as I would like to, and I know we're not going to. But I want to see everybody. I know it sounds contradictory.
Got it.
I think I said that right. I want everybody to be successful. I do. I want the industry to be strong, because when the industry is strong,
everybody does
well, and I want everybody to do well. And I truly mean that. And it is the Japanese Barudan philosophy. We're not going to build a machine for everybody. We don't want to be the biggest. We don't. If you look at our mission statement in Japan, that is nothing on there states that. It basically says in broken English.
I would have to cut this out too.
No, cut that out. Actually, they sent me. I don't know if I'm going to go to this or not. We did the new Japanese literature. I'm usually the one that translates the Earl does the technical stuff, and I usually do the marketing stuff. But I remember them sending me their mission statement, and I'm like, man, I don't know what they're trying to say. So I rewrote it. I rewrote what I thought they were trying to say, and they came back and said, no, that's not what we're trying to say. Like, well, and they were trying to tell me something. So and I remember at Mazda, he said, we don't have a word for what we're trying to say. I said, well, what am I supposed to do? And we went back and forth 4 or 5 times. I mean, I just did something for Mazda. Just a couple of weeks ago, he sent me something over, and I rewrote it for him. And but anyway, mission statement.
Yes,
they want to take care of the customer, family, the Barudan family, and we always say Barudan family all the time. But the Barudan family, whether it be us, Barudan, our customers, it is extremely important. Satisfaction, being happy, having a good quality product that you're proud to own, and that that if you have a problem with it, we're going to take care of it.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing about Barudan. Like you said, Bob, if there's a problem,
Yep.
I've never, in these 20 years, I've worked at Barudan, I've never seen Barudan not take care of some problem that they have. I don't care if it's, what it is. They're gonna fix it.
Yep.
They're gonna take care of it, and that's what makes us different. We operate a little differently. Not just a great machine, but we got a great company, great people work for us, and support and text. Just one big bundle that makes us stand above.
I thought you were going to say one big happy family.
How could you not want to work here?
I don't know.
I don't either. Look at how long all of us have been around. Well, I know Brandon, you haven't been around that long, but you've been doing it since you were a kid. But nobody leaves.
Well, I told him
the reason why.
I told him this morning. I was like, I could do this forever. Like, I really do love what I do.
Yeah.
I honestly do. Like, it is. I never dread getting up, coming to work. I don't dread traveling to see somebody. It's just
I don't either. It's never.
No.
It's never boring.
I never get out of bed.
No, it ain't.
and say, oh man, I don't want to. I don't want to go to work today. I don't.
These last couple of years have been hard.
They've been hard, but it's never been.
That's outside of our scope of being able to correct.
Look, I'm old enough to retire right now, but I wouldn't, because I enjoy what I do, even though it has been a very trying year. And COVID, supply chain issues, all that stuff. It's nobody's. You can't point to one thing and say that's what screwed it up.
Yeah.
It's something my dad always told me. It's not always going to be, sunshine and rainbows. You got to deal with the tough stuff. And I figure if
it's going to come.
Yeah, it's going to.
Yeah.
And I've been here long enough to know I've been through the very bad and the very good, and it'll get bad again. But you got to hang in there and stick with it, and it'll get good again.
Look at the economy that crashed in 2008. I mean, we were lucky to sell a machine then, and then it just mushroomed from there, man. It was great until COVID. But even I tell you, even with COVID, I've had, and I'm sure all the other reps had too, but I've had pretty good years. Even with the COVID years, and this year has been a good year.
Yeah.
And I'm sure everybody else does too. I mean, look at our stock list. I mean, machines we're selling, it's unbelievable. And I don't think people realize customers realize how many machines that we do sell. And that's what, causes a lot of backlog.
Yeah.
We're not a huge company. We can only build so many machines a month.
Yeah, that's the facts too. Like, I try to explain that to people, like, they're not pumping out but so many a month, and there's a whole lot of people waiting.
Yeah. And they're glad. They don't want to wait, but they're glad to wait. They know it'll be worth it.
They've stuck with us, and I'll be forever thankful for that. I do appreciate it. I know it's been tough, and I've lost a lot of sleep over it. Brandon has been a good sounding board for me. You have too. And even Phil, my buddy Phil out in Tennessee. And it's because I don't want to see customers unhappy. And I just feel like if I can't fix it, it just really bugs me.
Yeah, and us, like all of us together, being happy too. Like, I know when I was talking to you on the phone the other day, Robert, I was like, how are you feeling? Everything good? Like, I sincerely mean it. I don't want people to be worried and stressed, and I feel like we're in a good place. It'll get better.
Yeah, it was stressful. It was stressful at first, when all this happened. But it's like Bob said, it was more on the customer end than my end. Because the customer was having to wait, and but now it isn't just embroidery machines you have to wait for. It's everything.
Yeah.
So they're very understanding, and they know that we're doing the best we can, and we'll just continue to do that until it gets better, which it will.
Yeah, and just being honest and upfront with people, that's the main thing. Like, it's going to be a while, or sorry if there's another delay, but we're all dealing with this at the same time you are.
Exactly.
All righty. Anything else you want? Yep. Anything else you got?
No,
I guess.
You got anything else, Robert?
Oh, I thought you were talking to me. No, I'm good unless you had any other questions to ask me. I thank you again for inviting me on there. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, this was really good.
Well, I want to ask you a couple questions. That's people who don't know you. I want to get an inside look.
You didn't do this for Vinny.
I didn't. I meant,
but you know why he didn't shut his mouth?
He wouldn't shut his mouth long enough.
Uh-oh.
Robert, we'll let you talk.
Yeah, I love Vinny. I'm just kidding.
So I got some questions for you. Just off the cuff here. You're a rock and roll fan, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Was Van Halen better with Sammy Hagar or David Lee Roth?
Van Hagar all the way.
Oh, interesting.
What do you think about that, Brandon?
Oh, I like Sammy Hagar's stuff outside of Van Halen better than I like him with Van Halen.
I'm a huge Sammy Hagar fan.
Yeah.
But I don't know, David Lee Roth
Blue Voodoo.
And the energy.
Yeah.
He had.
The splits, the samurai action.
Yeah, you gotta
It's
love
very
it.
Japanese. It's very Japanese.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he could do it. He could do a high kick pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Here's one for you. If Mighty Mouse and Underdog got in a fight, who would win?
Mighty Mouse and Underdog.
You do remember those two, right?
I do. I'm trying to contemplate the
word
situation here if they were in a fight. I think I'm going with Mighty Mouse. I mean, because he's always got a pissed off look on his face. He looks mean.
You would too if you were a little tiny mouse.
Underdog, he's kind of stupid.
He is.
I'm going Mighty Mouse.
Yeah, I think the Underdog was only successful by accident.
I think.
No, Polly Purebred. No, she was kind of hot.
I think
you
Underdog.
Her, don't you?
Are you into bestiality? Is that what we're getting at?
I think we're getting to the point where you get to edit this
out. No, sir.
I think Underdog and Mr. Peabody were the same person.
They do look the same.
They look the same.
The same person drew them.
Yeah, I think they're kind of the same.
Now, what was the mad scientist's name? And he had the Igor guy on Underdog. What was his name?
Oh, what was his name?
Yeah, a little short guy, bald. Short.
I can see his face.
Yeah, I can't think of his name.
Yeah, but they had Igor. He had that big Igor guy.
So you're picking Mighty Mouse.
Yeah, I'm picking Mighty Mouse.
Final answer.
Yeah.
I'm kind of partial to mice. Why? What do you guys think?
No, I say Mighty Mouse.
I agree. That's a no-brainer.
He's little and powerful. He's mighty. We know that. And he can fly. Well, Underdog can too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but Underdog just, I mean, he's not an imposing figure.
No, and like the altercation things he would get into, he would win by accident. I felt like it was
I think I think he could talk his way out of a fight.
He's the underdog.
But I think Mighty Mouse would be like, all right, I've had it. Let's throw the gloves off and let's pound this one out. That's what I think.
One way or another.
They had so many great cartoons back then. And
they suck now.
What happened to all the good cartoons?
I don't know. Political correctness.
Well, now all I'm going to do this afternoon is watch Underdog cartoons and Mighty Mouse cartoons on my computer.
Well, I tell you, after you watch them a little bit, if you change your mind, call me or Brandon. Let us know.
Yeah, please.
You say, you know what? Maybe that Underdog dude, he may be a little better.
He ain't too bad.
He ain't bad.
Yeah, I might do some research. It's been a while.
Let's say you were in prison. Let's say you killed. Let's say.
Or when you are in prison.
That's not where it's going. Let's say you killed your boss, and you got convicted, and you went to prison, and you're getting executed tomorrow. What's your last meal consist of?
Ooh,
last meal. Oh man,
last meal. You're having it at 5:30, and in the morning, you're getting electrocuted or the gallows or whatever. I guess you would want something easy to digest, right?
I'd rather have I'd rather have a gallon of old fashions than something to eat.
If you drank that gallon, that would be the execution.
There you go.
I would want to drink a gallon before I got into the electric chair.
It helps the conductivity of the electricity.
I'd pull my own switch.
Yeah, I think I'd have one of those Ruth Chris steaks that we had.
Oh,
Great show. That's what I'd have.
good.
Man, that steak was T-bone steak. Man, that thing was so good. Man, that would be my choice.
Yeah.
Or a Del Frisco's.
It was good. We had a Ruth's Chris, and
I'm not a fan.
I normally that was our second choice. We couldn't get into Del Frisco's.
I've never been to Ruth's Chris. That's the first time I've ever been to it.
It's as good. It's the same thing. They bring out a steak on a hot plate, tell you not to touch it, and you do.
First thing I do.
I touched it. I touched it.
Anybody tells me not to touch something, I'm gonna touch it.
All right, I got one more for you.
Okay.
What song would you like played at your funeral?
Man, that'd be something. That'd be something by Elvis Presley.
Love Me Tender?
I'm a big Elvis fan.
Yeah, me
Jailhouse
too.
Rock?
More like Kentucky Rain or something.
That's a good choice.
That's a good choice.
Something sad.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no, man! I would want something upbeat. I wouldn't want anybody
I
being.
want everybody crying at my funeral. Otherwise, they wouldn't be crying if he didn't play something sad.
They wouldn't be crying over you. They'd be crying over the Elvis song.
Well, it looks good anyway.
That's
something by Elvis. That's a.
Did you watch the new movie?
Man, I haven't watched it yet.
Man.
Can you rent it now?
Yeah. It actually, I think it's on HBO
What movie are you talking
Max. The Elvis movie.
about? I don't watch movies.
It is really. I was like not sold on it, but man, it was really good. Actually,
I heard it was.
Yeah, I'm a big Elvis fan, and I actually cried at the end of it. I really did.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
Did you really?
I did. Honest to God.
Was your wife? Are you serious? Was your wife there? Did she cry?
Yeah, she did.
Did she?
We watched it together, and my kids.
Aren't your dogs named after?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a dog. My oldest dog, he passed away this year. His name was Elvis. I have a Priscilla, I have a Tupelo, and I have a Nova for Bossa Nova.
Man, you're a really good Elvis fan.
I do. I love him. I think he's great.
You guys went to Graceland, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I cried there. I'm a big old sissy.
Yeah, that Graceland, that was like we went there about 6 years ago.
That's about when I went.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I remember when Elvis
lived,
died.
1977. I think it's in August. Wasn't it August 16th?
Yeah.
Yeah. We used to when I was. I know you guys want to go, but real quick, I'll tell you the story. When I was 19, I lived out in eastern Arkansas, and Elvis had been dead for about a year or so. And we used to park across the street and walk over to his house, and if the gates were open, you could just walk up the driveway to his grave. You
Wow.
couldn't go in the house.
Right.
That was before it was like an amusement park. But yeah, you could just walk up. You could just walk up there, and if the gates were open, you could walk down to his grave and walk back. And we even seen Vernon one time when we were there. And I always enjoy going to Graceland. It is sad, especially going in the house. That's really.
Yeah, it's when you first walk in there, man. It's like I don't know. It's a strange. I don't know. It's just emotional. I don't know. Weird. I'd build it up in my head like it was going to be. I mean, it's a big place, but it's not like you think it is. The
kitchen was small.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe how small the kitchen was.
I figure it'd be like the Biltmore Estate here in North Carolina, like it's a big, massive mansion. It is not.
No.
I felt like it's probably an affordable home for most people that are doing all right.
Yeah, the standards changed since they built that house.
Yeah, he had some airplanes though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, his motorcycles. He had his Harleys. I'd love to have one of those early '60s electric glides he had.
Yeah.
Man, Love, love to. I wonder what happened to those motorcycles.
I think they're still probably part of the estate, or they may be in some museum somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
Did you go to what's the studio there where you recorded?
Sun.
Yeah, Sun Studio. Did you go there too?
No, we didn't. We didn't have time. We ran out of time.
Man.
We didn't go there. I know. I wanted to go there.
Yeah, I was still big into like playing music and stuff, and that was a crazy experience. Just to know all the stuff that got recorded in there. It's just it's bizarre. It's like all this music came out of here, and it looks ratty, but it was pretty cool.
Is it still?
Yeah, they still record there.
I mean, is it in the original building?
Yeah, mm-hmm. I think so.
They're still using it as a recording studio.
Yeah, they still do. Yeah, yep.
How big?
Crazy, but anyway, that's enough of our Elvis talk.
Yeah.
Well, this was a good one, man. I appreciate you accepting the invite, and.
Yeah, well, thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it. I enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it very much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice for people to get to know our reps. I think it's kind of an idea Brandon had, and I figured after we had Vinny on here, nobody else would ever listen, but it turned out better than what I thought.
Poor Vinny.
Poor Vinny. I give Vinny a hard way to go, but he's I love him. He knows that.
He's lovable.
He is.
Sure.
Yeah,
he's a
he
good
is.
dude. He's part of the family, and I'm glad he works for Barudan and not the other guys. He does a great job. All you guys do a great job. I've said this a million times, man. We got the best salespeople in the industry, and I truly mean that. We got some really good people. It's a joy to work with you guys. We all get along and help each other out, and we have fun doing it.
Oh, we got a pretty good boss too.
You do.
Yeah, he is.
I've known him my whole life.
Yeah.
And you guys sound exactly alike. I can't tell.
Everybody says that. I don't feel like we do, but everybody says that. Phil, we screw with Phil sometimes.
Oh yeah,
Phil doesn't know who it is.
Yeah, he called here, and I was trying to convince him I was going to sell a machine or give him a machine for 50% off to sell to a customer.
He knew that wasn't me then.
Yeah, he was pissed.
That's funny.
All righty, man. We'll let you go, and thanks again. And
good luck with your customer, buddy.
Yeah, I told Vinny this too, and whenever I started, you were really helpful and welcoming, and I appreciate it, and it meant a lot to me.
Yeah. Well, we want to see you do good, and I know you would. But you got a great teacher, so
yeah, I sure do.
Yeah, you both had the same. You both had the same teacher.
That's right, Sensei.
The master.
Sensei.
The master has passed it down to the student, and they are.
He
doing
taught
well.
us a lot of stuff, not just about embroidery, but other stuff in life. Which I won't mention here on this podcast.
Yeah. This is family. This is family rated.
Yeah,
so.
he tells me what to do, and I do the opposite, and it's turned out great.
All right, buddy.
All right, we'll let you go, man. Have a good day, buddy.
Good talking to you, man.
Hey, you too. You guys have a great weekend.
All right, buddy.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
All righty. That's great.
Yeah, he's such a good guy. He truly is.
Every time I get to talk to him, I enjoy.
First time I ever talked to him when he came in for the interview, it's we talked about everything, talked about family and everything. Then we finally got to the interview, and it's just when you hit it off with someone and you just get a feeling that they're going to do well and they understand our philosophy, how we feel about things, how we want to take care of the customer.
Well, it seems to me like, that's my opinion, like all the sales reps seem like really good, down-to-earth people.
They are.
And that's kind of the bottom line. Like, you start there, you know, and if you're missing that piece, probably not going to work out.
Well, nobody wants to buy anything from a knucklehead.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree. I hate it. And I don't want somebody else to have that. I do not want to be the person that gives that person the experience that I don't want.
Exactly. I want people to be happy about their purchase, and to have a good buying experience and a good ownership experience. We want them to come back and buy more.
Yeah, and it shouldn't ever just end just whenever they get their machine. It's over with. I mean, that, it's like you said, having the relationship and knowing, well, I need to call again and get this machine, and I know I'm going to have the same experience because the same person's there. All right.
So we were going to get Thaddeus on here, Mr. Thaddeus has a bout of the C19. He called me yesterday.
Is that what you call that? C19?
Isn't it COVID-19?
But has it ever been called C19?
I don't know. That's what I call it.
Okay.
But hope he's doing okay.
Yeah. Get well, buddy.
Yeah. I love Thad. Appreciate it. He's my buddy too. Sadly, I'm going to Cleveland on Sunday, the corporate.
Your birthday's coming up.
Yeah. I'll celebrate.
The big
50.
That's what I was going to say.
I'll celebrate my birthday in Cleveland.
We're partying on Saturday. So.
Yeah. Yeah, we're having cake. And your mom told me what
You don't remember.
I don't know.
She's got it handled. We'll be there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't worry.
So happy early birthday.
I just showed
I already gave you your present early.
Yes, you did. Thank you. And I won't get to see Thaddeus in the flesh, which I always like.
Oh yeah, because he'll be gone. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in quarantine. What is today? Friday?
You might.
Yeah, he may be there by Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm going to be. Yeah, I'll get to see him.
Good.
I was wanting him to take me out to dinner for my birthday and pay for it. That probably wouldn't happen.
It would. He's a good guy.
He would. He's a good dude.
Convince him to get on the podcast.
He wants to. He wants to.
Okay.
And when we're going to talk about it when I'm up there. So anyway, Thad, I know you listen. Feel better, bud.
Yes, likewise. Well wishes. Speedy recoveries.
Don't let Marla give you any crap.
Make sure she takes care of you.
All right. What else we got?
I think that's it. We should, I won't plan it out in my head. We may have a week, might not be able to have a podcast on the following week after this comes out. Town? Well, next week, but just for a day.
I thought you were going out of the country. You're not?
That's in November.
Oh, that's right.
It's October.
I'm missing a month somewhere.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Aren't you going on that St. Croix trip?
Mm-hmm. November.
Oh, that's the end of November.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, because I'm going.
You're going too.
I'm going out of the country.
We're all out of the country.
We're all out of the country.
Yeah. Anyway, I know you got travel coming up, so
yeah.
There may be a missed episode, but I'll let you know if there is. But I'll be here.
Right.
Okay. Anything else you need to cover?
No, just thank you guys for listening.
As always.
I hope you like talking to some. Us talking to some of these reps. I think it's get a little insight on what it's like, to work here and our philosophy, and maybe you can pick up a few things on if you're new to Barudan. And like I said, in Fort Worth, there were some folks there that didn't own a Barudan, and they said, "Hey, we listened to your podcast," and I want to thank you guys tremendously for that. It's weird. We like doing this. We think it's fun. We try to keep it lighthearted, but when people at every show have said, "Hey, we listen to you guys," and so we want to thank you very much for that. But we probably get a couple more guys on here. I like talking to them about stuff.
Yeah, somebody in Charlotte was like, "Oh, I was just watching your show before I got here." I was like, "Oh Lord," it makes you feel weird.
It does when someone comes and says, "Oh, I know you," and you're like, "Oh, okay." Yeah. I don't know. I couldn't be a celebrity.
Well, you're not, so don't worry about it.
I don't like no, I'm not, but I'm just saying I don't like the attention.
But podcasts are fun.
They're tons of fun. I love talking about our company, our product. I love our customers. It's a lot of fun. I'm glad we started doing these. It's been funner than I thought it would be.
That's a good one. All righty.
Put my English degree at work.
Go subscribe on the YouTube. Leave a comment if you'd like. Anywhere you get your audio podcast, make sure you subscribe there as well. Share it, and we appreciate it. See you guys on the next one. Adios.
Adios.